Okay. It should be live now. And I'm gonna be working on some stuff. I don't like my voice, so don't mind that. And I'm gonna be working on some stuff. I don't know. You didn't hear that. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna be talking about some art tips, and I wanted to do this for a long time because I'm not an expert, of course. I'm not a professional artist or anything. Um, I'm more intermediate in art, but I do know things that has helped me as an artist, and it might help you. So I don't know. It might be good to try out and stuff because there's some things as an artist that's helped me, and they might help you later on. Oh yeah, okay, I'm sorry. I should do this real quick. Um, I don't know why my display is not working. Here we go. I should actually. Yeah, never mind. There we go. So it should be you should be seeing that now. There we go. So I'm gonna go over some stuff and stuff. You can start asking, and then I'll probably start off with a few questions that I've been asked before. One thing I'll say, I remember I've been asked a lot about improving art styles. Yeah, sorry about that. I've been asked a lot about how to improve your art style. If you're unhappy with your art style right now and you want to be happier, I'd suggest first, don't cry and complain about how bad your art style is and how much you don't like it. You can say that you're probably unsatisfied with it, but don't ever like whine and complain about other people's art and how much better their art is to yours. That's that should be a common thing actually. So don't compare yourself to others. Um, don't whine and complain about that. I've done that before. It never got me anywhere. And it's not going to get you anywhere by just like whining and complaining about it. Um, if you do want to improve your art, I'd suggest kind of if you're kind of needing to improve anatomy wise, like if you want to get better anatomy, I'd suggest looking at real life images using references from real life objects, or if you're like doing dragons or something, you can find, I don't know, a Wings of Fire book or something, and then you can practice anatomy from that. And that's a common way to improve your anatomy, and I feel like that's pretty helpful. Although what I find more helpful when it comes to terms of like art style and anatomy and stuff, if there's someone with really good anatomy, and if there's someone who you really like their art style or something, and there's something about their art that's really good, and you want to implement that into your own art, I'd suggest that. Get inspired by other people, and you can see what like certain parts that make their art pretty good. I'd suggest only copy like maybe one part of that art style, but don't copy the whole thing because obviously that's heavily referencing, and that's not a good thing to do. Um, so yeah, you want to take like, I don't know, if you like another person's eye, like how they do eyes or noses or something, or how they do ears, you can do that. You know, you can get inspired and take that certain part, but you can't copy the whole thing, you know? All right. So that's about improving art styles. I don't know what else to say about that. Um, you probably have some more tips about that. Um, After you actually find an art style that you really like, I'd suggest kind of um, don't really trace it because tracing is not really that helpful, I'd say. Like, I mean, for me, it's not helpful. I wouldn't trace it. I would kind of reference over it and see parts that I like about it. And I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Well, I would see parts I like about it and kind of um, reference it, but I wouldn't trace it or anything, and I wouldn't like heavily reference it like a certain part. Um, and that's not all that like a bad thing or anything, because later on you'll kind of improve that and change that art style that you kind of referenced. Not a reference art style, but like certain parts that you've referenced or something. That will become your own art style. Like these eyes, that I came up for, or I kind of have for Jay. I didn't know where I based these off of. I don't remember, but I think it was from some particular artist, and then I kind of turned it into my own art style. Basically, it kept evolving into my own art, and I was pretty happy about that because it became more original and didn't look like the same artist, I guess. What else should I talk about? Maybe something animation related. Um, if you want to get better at animation, I'd suggest like maybe looking over the 12 principles of animation. That should help because you probably shouldn't start animating until you learn that. Very important. Keyframing is important. For me, I usually just start sketching off the keyframes. Not like okay, well, I start sketching off the idea basically of what I want to do, and then I'll start maybe going into my line art and then doing keyframes. But some people do like to animate the whole sketch and then do the keyframes and kind of do over it. That might be more efficient if you are very like focused or something and you're very focused on what you do and stuff. Although I kind of prefer doing this because it's much quicker and it's good either way, you know. And I think that's the same kind of style that Ginger Ninja does, as well as some other artists like Fluffy Lovey, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, just some advice. Um, I don't know what else to say about animation. I mean, keyframing is pretty important. Software, I should probably talk about software too. Um, oh, sorry. I should probably talk about software also. Um, and depending on your software, will also improve your quality too. And you can be good at any software. Let's start with that because there's a lot of people who are like, Toon Boom is very crafty, not crafty, crappy software, and it's not good at all. But that's untrue because have you seen Baked Patanyan and Quartz? Because they're actually really good animators who use Flipperclip and they make it work for themselves. Um, and I'd suggest that in using Flipperclip if you have a phone, because if you have a phone or iPad or something, that might be really useful to you. You know, if you can't afford a computer, I think that would be a great software to start off with. And if you do have a computer, um, I'd suggest getting Toon Boom. I mean, I use Toon Boom, and some people prefer Adobe Animate more than Toon Boom, which is understandable because Toon Boom is pretty hard to use and it's kind of complicated in some ways. where it's kind of hard to learn. I've been using Toon Boom for over like um 2 years or 3 years, so I really know like all the ins and outs of this software. Um, so there are some people who do prefer Adobe Animate more than Toon Boom. That's also a good software. Not saying it's bad or anything. I just prefer Toon Boom because I've used Toon Boom more than I used Adobe, and I'm just way more used to it. There's also TV Paint, which is good if you're more art, I guess, focused in making your project look more like artistic than I guess techie. I guess I don't know what to say about that. Um, Not that Toon Boom is like not artistic or anything, but I guess that's more focused on feeling like you're painting or something. Um, that's kind of what I heard. That's also like really good software to use if you're getting into animation on the computer. Art softwares you'd use. When it comes to art softwares, I'd probably recommend getting Paintful Sai if you're beginning. I still use Paintful Sai, and it's really easy to use. Um, Very like self-explanatory, I guess. And if you need to learn some things, they're pretty easy to learn. You just got brushes and you got everything. It's not like all hard or anything. Although when you get, if you ever use Photoshop, that's going to be a little bit hard because Photoshop has a lot more techie stuff, I guess. Um, yeah, I mean, Photoshop is really good because a lot of really good artists use Photoshop, and I heard it's really good. And it's probably one of the best softwares to use if you're actually getting into like professional arts. Although it's really hard to use, and you're gonna have to learn a long time if you're gonna want to use that. Other art softwares, I know people use Fire Alpaca, which is great for beginners. I don't use Fire Alpaca, but I know many people who do, and their artwork is fantastic. And you can also animate in Fire Alpaca, which people do, and that's really cool. Um, I would use Fire Alpaca because I love alpacas, but if I never got into Painter's Eye, but yeah, I'm just really stuck onto Painter's Eye right now, so I'm not really thinking of switching in art software anytime soon. I use Clip, but I do struggle trying to make my animations look smooth and with coloring. With that, I would suggest like I used Toon Boom before when I was trying it out on my dad's iPad. You're gonna have to buy a few things. I'd suggest buying the pack for keyframes, which is or the onion skin, front and back, because then you want to do your keyframes like that. You can't just do backwards keyframes because that's going to be a little bit hard. Because most of the character animations that you want to do, they'll include you needing to do a front onion skin. You know, like the green lines that are showing up here. That's like the frontwards of the onion skin, which is the drawing in front of this frame, or the frame in front of this frame, I guess. You'll have to buy that if you want your keyframes to look smoother, or else it's going to be kind of hard. Um, but yeah, otherwise, I just suggest focusing on the 12 principles of animation also, like um, keyframes, slow in and slow outs, balances, and realistic movement, I guess, because that will help a lot with your animations. And ever since I started focusing on the 12 principles of animations, I've been getting really good at animation, and I've been really proud of that. Um, yeah. So that's most what I gotta say mostly, I guess. And I think I'll talk about painting now. Painting is pretty hard, I'd say. When you're painting a realistic image, always use references. If you don't use a reference, you're not gonna go far with your painting. So use references at all times if you're painting something realistic, you know? If not, then, and if you're like drawing from out of your head in your own art style and stuff with like, I don't know, like just draw a cat or something and you know how to draw a cat, or I'd still recommend doing that, but you can do that if you've already like mastered a cat or something. Because basically no animator has gone far without using references. And I remember I would talk about schools and art schools that you can get into. Right now, I'm applying for an art school in my district, which is a middle and high school actually, and it focuses on arts. And they have an animation program over there in MIA, which is what I'm kind of focusing on, and I really want to do. I haven't gotten in yet, so I have to wait till March, if to see if I got accepted or not. But when it comes to art schools, there are a lot of like good colleges out there that you can get into, and you can get a degree from that. Um, Cal Arts is a very competitive school. Everyone is trying to get in there, and it's really, really hard to get in. But the school does help if you are actually looking for a school where um, you want to get into Pixar or something. Because when Pixar hires animators, they always like focus on people who have graduated from Cal Arts and stuff. But of course, Cal Arts is not the only school where you can get into Pixar or anything. You can also do SCAD, which is a art school. I forgot where. In Savannah, I'm pretty sure. But it's a really good art school because I've heard really good things about it, and it also has like an animation course, and it can also help you get into certain studios that you want to get into. So it's great. Um, yeah. I don't know what more to talk about. I kind of need to rest my voice for a while and kind of think of more things to talk about. So I'll do that. Okay, I've thought of something. A lot of people ask how to get pretty famous or get more popular in the art community on YouTube. I'd suggest making friends with more people, being involved in the community, doing more things within the community, making friends, and people will start liking you and they'll subscribe to you and stuff. That's not the only way. I'd say also get really good at making maps and getting involved with maps and meme animations. Personally, I'm a map animator because I think memes are a little bit repetitive and stuff, and I don't like doing that. But maps are really good if it takes a long time for you to animate and you really just kind of want to, I don't know, start in and get in somewhere. And I'll actually explain what maps are and what animation memes are too. Um, I'll do that right in a sec. When I come back, I'm going to talk about that in particular, about memes and maps and stuff. Um, Before that, I would actually say that if you want to go somewhere as an artist, try to find social medias and don't just stick to one social media. Go around and go to many social medias and go to Twitter or something, go to Facebook, go to Instagram. Just reach out, go to DeviantArt. That's probably the best place if you're an artist. Um, Hold on. I'll be right back. All right. I'm back. Hello again. All right, I'm going to answer some of the comments. Okay, Marishi Wolf says that she doesn't, or he, I don't really know, doesn't have their social media. Doesn't have social media. If you don't have social media, or if you can't get social media, then just stick to what you have. Um, if you don't have social media, you should probably get some like some social medias. Like I think get out of here. I think Instagram would be the best social media if you're an artist, or if DeviantArt also if you're an artist. Um, and yeah, when it comes to sorry, I don't know. I keep procrastinating because I'm very focused in drawing and stuff. Anyways, when it um yeah, when it comes to social media, if you don't, or if you can't get a social media, then just stick to what you have right now. Um, to be honest, that's more of an optional thing. But if you don't have social media, then that's all right. Um, Back to what I was going to say about um, sorry. I'm sorry. I keep spacing out. Back to what I was going to say about maps and animation memes. What are maps? I'm gonna explain that in a sec. So maps are basically these little projects that a host puts together, and the host is the one responsible for the map. They do all the editing most of the time, and they do all the rules. Sometimes there's co-hosting, and a co-host makes the rules sometimes or edits. Um, but the host has the idea, and um, the host puts together these projects, and um, the host organizes everything and accepts all the members. Sometimes co-hosts can do that too. Um, but basically, a map call is basically calling out to artists that that they want, or that they need artists and stuff, and um, to participate in this. Most of the time it will just be like a song, and then there will be numbers uh, to kind of organize like where the audio should be cut and stuff, and where the parts are. And parts are basically, sorry, I'm kind of spacing out, so I'm kind of having a little bit of a hard time talking. Just excuse me for a sec. So yeah, if you're trying to get into arts and animations and stuff, I would definitely suggest going for maps first, because, or actually, I would probably suggest animation memes first, because most artists will be looking for art examples. And if you're just starting out, I wouldn't recommend um, actually asking a very large artist about joining their map. Of course, you can. You should definitely take a shot at it. Although the chances are very high, like unlikely, unless it's like a beginner friendly map or anything, you know. Unless you're like really good at animation. You need art examples, and they need to see your art and see examples of your art and work that you did in order to be able to join the map. And yeah, um, most of the time, they're very hard to put together, and not a lot of artists usually end up getting to finish the map or anything. So um, they're kind of hard to put together. So I would usually recommend animation memes first, which I'll get into shortly. But maps are pretty easy to do if you are pretty busy in your life or something. And I don't know, like you just don't want to repeat the same frames over and over because that's kind of what animation memes do. I mean, I'm not wrong. So hold on for a sec. I'm sorry. Um, I would explain more about this because I'm kind of spaced out right now. Um, I don't know why this happens. Yeah, this isn't the real kitty dog. Yeah, all right. Okay. I'm going to say more about maps. When you're the host, you are responsible for getting the map organized. You are responsible for getting everyone on task. Um, you are basically responsible of everyone in the map, and it's your responsibility to get them on task, get them focused, and get them doing their maps. It's not like um, you are put the responsibility because if if someone doesn't do their map, that's kind of on you. You need to get good participants who will be able to finish their map. They're consistent. They'll get it in on time. They'll provide whips, which is work in progress animations that are unfinished, but they'll be as proof as to that they're working really hard to finish and everything. So yeah, just find animators who are consistent and will be able to get their work done, you know. And if you are a animator for a certain map part, and if you're a participant, I would recommend just get your work done, you know, just be able to get it done. Of course, don't rush into it, quality over quantity. Um, be wise about your time, be able to do something, you know, like be able to get it done. Um, and don't make excuses because if you make excuses, that's not going to help you in the long run, you know. It's your own fault if you aren't able to get your map done and you have to be committed. So making excuses, like I've seen a lot of people make excuses like they can't be able to do this because of school or something. Except if you're an animator and you join a map, you should be expecting this. You know, there's there shouldn't be really like any excuses you should be making. You know, it's your own responsibility to get the work done, no one else's. And when you quit a map, I do see a lot of excuses on that. Um, I don't really like it when people make excuses. They unless it's like really reasonable. Like I do want them to have a very good reason. But when they say it's because of school or something, or like, oh, well, I can't do this because it's too hard or something, you know, it just becomes really annoying. And it it's really stupid because you have to be able to do the map, and before joining a map, you have to be sure if you will be able to finish it or not, you know? You can't just say, "Yeah, this looks pretty complicated and out of my level, but I'm just gonna join anyways," because no. If there's something that's hard for you, like if it's a human only map and you only draw animals and you hate drawing humans or something, and you're really bad at it, then just don't do that. Don't join a map like that. Remember to join maps that are like in your skill level that are going to be easy for you. Don't join anything that's hard or like needs specific palettes or something, or they're very specific on what they want. You'll have to be able to do something in your own skill level that you'll be able to achieve. And remember to, and I think one of the most important things is that if you're joining a map, do something that you like, whether it's Warrior Cats or if it's Final Fantasy for me, I guess, or if it's like a multi-fandom map or something. Just do something that you will enjoy. Make sure, like, maybe you find an idea of what you want to do. Like, even before you join the map, you should be able to look over the part that you want and think of the song in your head while you think of the animation and be able to picture it in your head before joining, you know? And then that way you have an idea of what you want and what you want to do. And it will just make it way easier for you. And just be able to, whatever you do, just enjoy it. And I'll get into animation memes pretty shortly, but that's all I have to say about that. All right, animation memes. I'm gonna get into that real quickly. Personally, I don't really like animation memes. Like, I don't. It's not that I don't like them. Actually, it's because I find myself doing map parts more because I enjoy doing map parts more than animation memes. Not that animation memes are a bad thing and that I don't do them. Like, I will do them periodically, but I don't do them all the time and for specific reasons. Um, yeah. So animation memes. Okay, so what are they? Basically, I'll talk about original memes for a sec. So original memes are basically what an animator, like, they'll just copy a song or something that has a specific beat and you can repeat to it, I guess. And you'll be able to, I guess, make an animation of like a head bob or something, and the character is doing something. And usually, oftentimes, and it doesn't have to be like this, but the frames often repeat itself. Um, and there's a lot of twinning in it, which that's, I'm not saying that's for all of them, but that's kind of a common trend when it comes to animation memes. Um, and when it comes to animation memes, like, an original meme is basically the starting out point, I guess, of a meme. And then there are all also meme makers who kind of take the meme and take the idea of it and the idea of, like, basically take the song, take the idea, and turn it into something of their own. It's basically a group of inspiration, I guess. They'll turn it into something their own, like they'll take the character and stuff and they'll make it their own thing, that makes them theirs, I guess. Like, just do the same thing but with a different character and stuff. Which is not a bad idea, actually. You know, it was pretty good. I'm gonna be going off in a sec to play some Switch games, but yeah, I'll probably not delete this on my channel just in case people want to see this and be like, oh, that's cool. But yeah, um, I won't go until 6, so I'll probably talk about more stuff. Um, yeah, criticism. I'll talk about criticism actually, because that's also very important. When it comes to criticism, I used to have a belief where if you were giving criticism, you should only give criticism to those who do want criticism. Although that was I kind of have different thoughts about it now. Like, because to be honest, nobody's gonna really do that, you know? You can say all you want about that, but people are not really gonna do that. This is the internet, and when you're posting something publicly, people are gonna criticize it, and there's no choice about it, you know? If you're gonna be posting on the internet, you will expect criticism, and you're just gonna have to expect it. You can't do anything about it. Um, you're just gonna have to accept it because that's kind of how you'll become better as an artist. Anyways, basically when oh wait, not when I'm spacing out a little bit, I'm sorry. When it comes to criticism, I'll talk about giving criticism and getting criticism. First, I want to talk about getting criticism because I feel that it's the most important, to be honest. When you're getting criticism, don't get really angry about it, you know? Don't be really angry about someone else's criticism that they're giving you. They're just trying to help you, you know? They're not being mean to you. They don't hate your art. They just want to help you out, you know? That's what criticism is all about. And people just want to help you. This is a community where people want to help each other out. They don't want to hurt each other. They don't want to put each other down. And criticism is not a bad thing, of course, or critiquing, I guess, but I'm not going to say that because it's confusing. Just take criticism how it is. Even if it's a not very nice comment, then just take it, you know? If it's very like forward criticism, just take it, you know? Just be very respectful about it. And if you don't want to take the criticism, that's all right. Just don't be mean about it. Don't like diss someone off because they're just criticizing you or they just want to help you, you know? Get out of here. So don't diss someone off because of that, because people do want to help you. And that's what the community is all about. We're just trying to help each other out, improve as artists, you know? We're trying to inspire each other. We're not trying to like break each other down. We just have to learn how to take criticism and remember to take them nicely. You want to be really respectful about it. And I mean, if it's so hard for you to respect criticism, you could simply just ignore it. Of course, you don't have to read it. Don't look at it. Just ignore it. You know, you don't have to take criticism either. Which is something that I've also said. You may take criticism, but if there's something you feel like, oh, you like this, you know, you don't think you need to improve on anything, then all right, because people have their own opinions, you know, on what makes something good and what makes something bad, you know. Just remember that people are there to help you, you know. If you kind of see like, oh, yeah, that is kind of a hard thing that I'm working on, then yeah, take criticism because people are just trying to help you, you know. Um, but yeah, ignoring criticism is probably the best way. If you are a little bit hot-headed or something and criticism is very hard for you to take, like for me, example, I kind of have a disorder where it's really hard for me to take criticism. And I've been getting better at it actually. I've been able to take criticism more and it's been helping me a lot. Um, I've felt bad when I got criticism, and I still feel bad when I get criticism, but that's all right, you know. As long as you're being respectful about it and as long as you kind of understand it, you know, it's all cool. When you are giving criticism, um, I think one of the most important things is to be respectful. Just be respectful of the artist. Don't be all mean. Don't be all aggressive on them because they can't do something. We all suck at first, we all suck, you know. When we're starting out at something, we all suck. We're all gonna suck at first until we get better at it. And the way we get better at it is by working harder, drawing every day, which is what I do. Just draw every day, if not every day, a few times a week, and you'll eventually get better at it. And trust me, that works a lot. Um, yeah, so don't get aggressive with someone just because they can't really do something. You can be very firm about it. You can be really nice about it. Um, they both go two ways. And yeah, you can be very respectful and stuff, but just don't get aggressive with the other person. Despite what they might reply back, just don't get aggressive with them. Just be understanding. If they don't want to take your criticism, they don't have to take it, and you might as well just ignore what they reply. Um, yeah. And what I'd say, if you're giving criticism, be honest. Don't just make up something just because you want to criticize a person or make them feel down or something. Be honest about what they can improve on, and remember that you want to be helpful about it. Don't just say, oh, you need to improve this. Tell them how they can improve. Tell them how they can improve that part in their art. Tell them how they can improve on this particular thing that they're struggling with. Just tell them how to do it, because if you're just going to tell someone you need to improve this, or that's bad, that is bad, or like you draw hands badly or something, that's not going to help them. You really do need to help them with understanding where they went wrong and helping them out by giving them some like advice. Don't just be like, okay, this is bad. You actually got to tell them, hey, um, I would suggest doing this to help improve your art. Yeah. And that would be probably the best way to handle things. And that's criticism. That's all I got to say for criticism, I guess. Um, hmm. Dang, I can't draw this one year. I remember I've heard someone say before, if you play video games, you can't improve as an artist, but that's totally false. Whatever you're into, and whatever movies you watch, whatever you do, you can get a lot of inspiration from what you do in your average lifetime. You play video games, great. You can get inspired by drawing Spyro or something, and you can probably learn how to draw dragons when you play Spyro. Um, like I like Final Fantasy, and because I like Final Fantasy, I've been really improving my art for humans because I've been really wanting to draw a bunch of the human characters. Um, so fandoms are pretty important when it comes to animating too. They shouldn't be looked down upon because a lot of people do that, and that's not very fair because they do. Oh, okay. That's it, I think. Um, that's all I have to say. I'm gonna have to end it here because I'm gonna be playing some Super Smash Bros. Yeah, see ya. Where is the thingy? There it is. Goodbye.